God.
A tornado has been confirmed. Protect yourself from flying debris.
The weather. An uncontrollable force. Unlocking life. And unleashing chaos. As our planet heats up, the weather is getting more extreme.
Oh my God!
More terrifying.
That is insane. We're gonna lose everything.
And even more catastrophic.
God damn it, go!
With incredible self-shot footage.
Golf ball sign, fail!
It seemed like a war zone.
From the front line of fear.
The heat and the smoke, it was so intense.
We witness firsthand.
You can't stop the water. Water is the strongest force we have on Earth.
The wrath of Mother Nature.
Do you see flames from where you are right now?
In every direction, yes.
Large tornado!
From twisted tales of terror.
It looked like a bomb went off.
Earth-shattering natural disasters.
We didn't have time to get out.
We felt a huge earthquake.
And stories of sheer destruction.
It was sad. Like I've never seen the devastation with my own eyes.
We meet the people who have stared death in the face.
I was under the water and fighting for my life.
Absolutely crazy.
Oh my God! Oh my God, oh my God.
And survive the full force of the world's deadliest weather. Coming up, a river breaks its banks in Waverly, Tennessee. Extreme floods set homes on fire and separate families.
I knew I couldn't get to her.
All I could do was try to keep my head above water. It's literally just fighting for my life.
In Canada, a tornado rips through a construction site.
Oh my God.
And workers run for their lives. Just in time. In Nepal, a lakeside gig is interrupted.
Oh my God!
By a powerful avalanche. And in Papua New Guinea, rain-flooded rivers leave an adventurer trapped, upside down, and underwater.
30 seconds of just total, all-encompassing existential terror.
Floods can be one of the most lethal forms of deadly weather. An unstoppable force penetrating every nook and cranny, devastating lives. At the heart of the southern states of America sits Tennessee. Over 100,000 square kilometers of rolling hills, a series of domes and basins, split by the Tennessee River. In Humphreys County, nestled in the Trace Creek Valley, sits Waverly, home to 4,000 people, including Darlene Tunget and her daughter, Amanda Maples.
Born and raised here in Waverly, Tennessee. I was raised by the county sheriff, so we knew everybody and everybody knew us.
It's August 2021, and summer ends abruptly. 17 inches of rain falls in 12 hours, almost double the previous record for the area. The streams and creeks to the east are swollen and heading west towards Waverly. Then the levee protecting the town collapses. A
4 to 6 foot wave of water that looked like a tsunami wave, about the size of a football field, going about 50 miles an hour. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to get out.
Front yards disappear below a mixture of mud and water. As the levels rise, anything not fixed to the ground follows. Heavy vehicles are floating battering rams. But this is just the start.
I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. My kids are trapped at home. He's gone.
I woke up to water under me, and I was like, what is going on? It like took my breath away.
Troy Beasley sleeping on the floor of a friend's house.
Literally within not even a minute, like water was up to my shins. I called my mom to tell her, look, this is way worse than I thought. And by the time I make that call, water's up to my waist. Seconds later, the house comes off the foundation and it's floating down the road, literally.
Incredibly, Amanda's home is holding its ground, but she's trapped as water floods in at a rapid rate.
It was brown and nasty and just thick with, it looked like wood and grass and just anything you could find was floating around in there. I needed to access my attic and get to the roof as soon as possible.
Next door, Amanda's mum, Darlene, is also in trouble.
I was reaching for stuff, thinking, okay, let me see if I can find something that floats.
Just a few meters away, Darlene's daughter, Amanda, has reached the roof of her house. She can see her mum is surrounded by water.
I was really worried about exactly where she was, and I could see part of their home actually tearing apart. I could see how dangerous the water was at that moment and knew I couldn't get to her.
Troy's thrown into the raging current.
That water was so powerful, all I could do was try to keep my head above water. And I hit my head. I almost passed out at this point. And I take in a lot of water. I didn't think I was gonna make it. It's literally just fighting for my life.
The devastation from flash flooding is a more regular event on the other side of the world, particularly in India. In 2021, extreme rainfall events are becoming more regular. This is just the start of the monsoon season in June in Jamnagar in western India. Makeshift bridges rescue residents from stranded buildings. In central India, with roads and bridges cut off, army helicopters are sent in. Isolated residents are pulled to safety as thousands are losing their homes and livelihoods. In northern India, in Haridwar, this group of workers is stuck under a bridge until a fellow worker jumps behind the levers of a crane and manages to pick them all up. Despite the gushing floodwaters, he maneuvers the boom and his human cargo towards the bridge. Delicately balanced, they try not to catch their toes and slowly make it to the top of the bridge. Temperatures are rising in India, and with this, there are many more flash floods and landslides. Tornadoes are one of the most deadly forces of nature. Canada is a landmass of nearly 10 million square kilometers. But it only gets around 50 tornadoes a year. Half of them make landfall in Ontario. Barrie is a city of 140,000 people, and extreme weather is rare. Shia Howard studies the climate and tracks storms around the world. But in July 2021, a tornado comes to his front door.
What is going on? The wind's moving sideways. Whoa! That's when alarms went off in my mind, and I thought, okay, there could be a tornado. Holy smokes, we gotta get in the basement. Can you see that? Yeah, this is insane.
In-car cameras capture the early storm.
Look, debris, take cover, guys. Get to the basement.
And that's when I was kind of like, oh my goodness, this is a major tornado.
Tornado, come on, basement.
In the center of town, it's getting worse.
Oh my God, this is bad. Holy crap, get down!
As the tornado approaches, construction supervisor Tom Kolb is just arriving on site.
My foreman looked over and he's like, oh my gosh, there's a tornado. And I was like, come on, Mark, that's crazy. And I looked over to my right and I just saw shingles and like all this debris flying around.
Oh my God.
And then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. It's the craziest thing I've ever been through.
Inside is
God damn it. God damn it.
And we just sat back and watched as this tornado took over the site. You're thinking like, is this actually happening?
As the wind speed reaches over 130 miles per hour, two of his workmates are exposed to the elements.
Look, those power lines.
Power lines you down.
Two other colleagues are stuck in their trailer.
The footage is like, it's chilling. The inspector looked out the window and said, Sam, there's a tornado, get out, get out, get out. Sam, I guess he grabbed his computer and came out the other door, and as he's coming out the door, the trailer started to flip and it pinned him against the truck that it was parked in front of the trailer. He got pinned up against and fell down, and then the trailer literally got picked up in the air and thrown.
Sam emerges from underneath the trailer and runs for his life.
If that truck wasn't there, he would have died. You see from the front, the trailer flip over the front of the car, and then you can see it actually exit the back of the car and blow out of frame. It's nuts.
Across town, on another construction site, Stephen Gallion is also in a trailer, but can't get out in time.
The second the door ripped off, felt like a cold chill. You know, like, that's weird, that's not supposed to happen. And next thing I know, I remember just hitting my head off of the ceiling. The trailer just picked straight up, flew straight up into the air. Out of nowhere, from sunny to flying through the air in about a minute. The only thing I could describe it like, it felt like being inside of a giant subwoofer, like a speaker. Or like everything was almost vibrating and shaking out of nowhere. I felt like I was an astronaut in space, like no gravity. There's nothing that sort of prepares you for a moment like that. Like you just feel you're totally helpless, nothing you can do, you're kind of just along for the ride.
The tornado dumps the trailer, with Stephen inside, into the eye of the storm.
I wake up, I'm lying in a field of mud. Our huge 60-foot trailer looked like it had been through a shredder. There's just pieces everywhere. And I remember looking up, everything just looked gray. Like, I think we were in the middle of the tornado at that point. And I'm thinking, like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Within a few minutes, it's all over.
No way.
Tim Kolb has to pick up the pieces.
No. That is my first tornado. Oh my God.
To know that, only a couple people got seriously hurt and no one died is a miracle.
Drywall. Oh, he's bleeding up. There's the old trailer frame.
We looked up in the trees and there was pillows and blankets and a mattress, and that's just someone's life just scattered across the job site. I drove home with Sam in his truck, and we're going through, and power lines down, trees knocked over, completely uprooted.
Shia Howard's neighborhood doesn't fare much better.
This is insane. Oh my goodness. Is this for real? No. Holy shit. My goodness.
It was a complete disaster.
The Barrie tornado is 100 meters wide and rips a 5-kilometer corridor through the town.
All of this was making this narrow corridor look like a war zone.
The worst of it's right around here. Whew, freaky.
More than 70 homes are left uninhabitable, causing more than $75 million of damage. But the survivors feel lucky to be alive.
I broke 3 fingers on one hand, had a broken nose.
Mother Nature is unrelenting, just shows no mercy.
The destructive power of the wind should never be underestimated. It's June 2021 in China's Shandong province. Wind speeds reach almost 90 miles per hour. It catches the residents of the capital, Jinan, completely unaware. Individuals brave the gusts to protect themselves and their scooters. High-rise flats have their external render truly tested. But when the top half folds, the rest follows. Cars are picked up and rolled around car parks. The brave and confused try to work out what is happening. The roof fractures into lumps of plastic, out of control and hurtling towards them. Giant squares of metal fly towards vehicles. And pieces of building drop from the sky towards pedestrians. Even the trees are being ripped up by their roots. Trees become even more vulnerable to wind after a large amount of rain loosened their roots. This couple is on a woodland road just outside Poprad at the base of the high Tatras Mountains in Slovakia. It's vulnerable to the odd tree fall. All they can do is reverse, but they're not fast enough. Even when they're out of the car, they still aren't safe. Just north of India sits Nepal and Kapuchi Lake. Almost 150,000 square kilometers of rocky peaks with 8 of the world's 10 tallest mountains. including Mount Everest. It's early January 2021, and Sambu Adikiri and Kiran Shrestha are on a trek in the mountains with friends.
It was like full 9 hours hiking, and it was like really tough, completely uphill.
Their destination is the glacial Lake Capucci, just south of the Annapurna mountain range.
We are very excited to see the lake for the first time. Finally we reached the spot.
They set up camp on the shores of the lake. By dawn, Kiran is out on the far side of the lake.
Enjoying the ride.
Sambu pulls out his beloved guitar to play a tune against a dramatic backdrop.
I just love to play a guitar. It's my passion.
But an uninvited gatecrasher arrives from the mountains.
We heard a noise, a big, like something like boom.
There was like a huge cloud coming down from the hill. And it was like really new thing for us. We don't have got any idea what's next gonna happen.
Kiran is still out on the water, right in the path of the avalanche.
It got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger when it came down towards us.
Kiran has to paddle for his life and scrambles to dry land, helped by Sambu. They think they are safe on the other side of the lake, but they underestimate the power and speed of the avalanche.
Oh my God!
When it come a little bit closer, there was like really different noise, that loud noise.
Excitement turns to panic. And they're rapidly overwhelmed.
There was like small piece of ice that coming towards our face, and that was hitting us.
Well, remember experience.
We had to run away there. That's the only option.
Their kit abandoned as they're overcome by a wall of ice.
The noise was really scary.
Whether we will be alive or dead, we don't know.
It is a remarkable and rare cloud avalanche. Falling from the lower face of the Annapurna 2 peak at a height of almost 8,000 meters. Bellowing plumes of snow, ice, and rock bouncing into clear blue sky. The avalanche covers a distance of over 2 miles in just under a minute, moving at speeds of over 120 miles per hour. A wonder of Mother Nature. The campsite is wiped out.
When I come down, I saw like completely lake was full of ice, and I think it seems like frozen.
Much of their kit is in the lake.
Belongings, our clothes and our electronics devices, everything went into the lake.
Although Sambu manages to keep hold of his beloved guitar. Then there is another message from Mother Nature, as sunshine and moist air create a symbol of hope.
It seems like rainbow was like symbol of new life. I think so.
It was the greatest moment of our life. Thank God we survived.
Avalanches can happen at any moment. This skier in Andorra is alone in fresh powder, taking on a narrow channel. He hears a rumble behind him and is swept off his feet. A self-inflicted slough avalanche in loose snow. 100 meters further down the mountain, he is lucky to be alive. And sometimes, getting buried by snow is actually more predictable. This guy in Iglino, Bashkortostan in Russia is just trying to protect his home. Heavy snow can collapse a roof, but simple removal methods can produce a rapid result with the help of gravity. But next time, throwing the rope from a safer distance might avoid being right underneath tons of snow.
Hey Ronan, this is your grandpa. I love you, buddy. This is for you. Check this out. Watch this.
And finally, other human beings feel invincible in the face of a wall of snow. Riding up the rolling mountains of Colorado on a skidoo, an exercise in man versus nature is about to prove that power and powder don't always mix.
Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him, guys. He's good. Holy. Look at that.
Celebrating retirement in the snow can be a risky business.
Ronan, that was for you, buddy! Oh, man.
That was insane, dude.
Back in Waverly, Tennessee, a deluge dumps a quarter of the 5 counties' annual rainfall in 12 hours. Brothers Mark and Brian Bohannon are some of the few people in a position to rescue the stranded.
I think that's what caught most people off guard with this one, was the speed at which it rose and the height to which it got.
Helicopter pilot Joel Boyers also got the call in Nashville to help people 65 miles west.
I knew I couldn't live with myself if I didn't at least go out to the airport and you know, see what I could do. So we got up and it was pretty bad. I stuck over the interstate, but yeah, it was 60 miles of less than a mile of visibility for the most part. It was kind of surreal because you're looking at a town where there normally should be roads. It was just solid, raging water. It's odd because it would move things that you normally wouldn't expect it would be able to move. A whole house, a tractor trailer. It caused an electrical fire, which caught a house on fire, and that was very weird. Seeing the first 2 floors of a house, a raging inferno, and the bottom floor was engulfed in water. There were actually things floating that were on fire. Really, I was just looking for anyone who was floating, anyone on any rooftops that I could get.
64-year-old Darlene Tunget is still stuck in her house after floodwaters swept through her kitchen up to her neck.
It was like the house was breaking apart. You could hear just huge booms. But at that point, I thought, I'm going to die.
Her daughter Amanda can only watch from the roof of her home next door. Then, just in time, help arrives on the back of a jet ski.
That's when we seen Amanda on her roof. And she said, "I'm fine, I'm on my roof." She said, "Get my mama." My mama's in the house across the street, and she's in the water.
I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine.
They are almost out of fuel, but have to check if Darlene is still alive.
I heard a voice saying, "Anybody in here?"
Mark wades in to check for signs of life.
I mean, anytime I'm in there, these houses were running the risk of being pushed away, swept away, folding up under the current.
My mama being rescued.
And then finally, when I seen him come out of the house, or to the edge of the house, that's when I drifted back in, and we was able to get her back on the ski.
Thank you to them.
Meanwhile, Troy Beasley is still in trouble after he's ejected from his home by the force of the water.
It was like I was thrown like out of a cannon, like I had no control over anything. It was like I was punched in the gut. And see the home that I was just thrown out of engulfed in flames. It was literally the most terrifying thing that I've ever seen in my life.
Troy manages to somehow clamber onto the roof of a building with a small group of survivors.
We were all crying and emotional and just trying to figure out what to do. And we started praying, and she started singing hymns.
Luckily, Joel and his fiancée Melody scan the rooftops.
We fly by and see 4 people on a kind of 90-degree angle blue roof, which, of course, with the backside of it, it looked like it was impossible to land on.
When we saw the helicopter, just full of hope and joy at that point.
But as I got closer, I asked the people, can you get up to the top? They said no. So I decided to try it anyways.
It was absolutely the most incredible thing I've ever seen, the precision. I stepped up on there and pretty much fell into the helicopter. I was so thankful to be rescued. I knew that I could breathe at that point.
But one of the rescued has left her daughter Gabby behind on a separate building.
Her daughter's on the roof across the street on top of the Exxon. So she's freaking out about that. She's trying to stay alive.
Joel has just enough fuel to go back for her.
Exxon wasn't that bad of a landing, although I still had to put it on a steel beam. And she climbed on, and it was great. The reuniting, that hug was caught by my fiance on the film.
The combined efforts of the Bohannon brothers and Joel Boyers with his fiancée Melody saved 32 people.
I don't know how many people would have thought to call a random helicopter company in a town close by, but she did. And she happened to call the only guy stupid enough to try to go there.
Always had an awe and an admiration for Mother Nature. There's always an energy and an excitement that comes around storms, but at the same token, that power has the ability to change people's lives forever in an instant.
The next day, the site where the levee broke can be clearly seen.
The railroad tracks are gone.
Yep, they are.
We've had tornadoes here, and I don't think I've ever seen a tornado do as much damage as the floodwaters. Waters are not kind to anybody. It's devastating.
Many are saved, but 20 people die in the Waverly floods. 700 homes are flooded and destroyed.
Of all my worldly possessions, literally the only thing I have left from that is a $1 bill and my ID and Social Security card.
We felt like even though we lost everything, we had everything at that point because we had each other.
Adventurers take huge risks with the weather and the natural world. The backwaters of North Carolina drew in this kayaker with his skull and crossbones paddle. But this solo pirate isn't alone in the water, and he's right to be cautious. His unannounced visit is being monitored from below by one of the long-term resident alligators, who doesn't take kindly to his uninvited guest. Turning him over to see if he can get a bite. But a quick recovery helps our explorer survive. On closer examination, you can see the alligators waiting, ready to launch an attack. After a quick check for a second wave of attack, he makes a swift exit back where he came from. Raging rapids draw kayakers from all over the world. Weeks of heavy rainfall make this mountainous route particularly challenging. And the rocky outcrops can snap paddles in an instant. It's all over in seconds. But this guy's left in trouble, like having no steering and no brakes. He hurtles between each cliff face and shallow water and is battered. He turns over against the stones of the riverbed. Half a paddle can't control the kayak, and his body weight bounces around in tons of water rushing downhill. He's spun through the wash and dragged under again. Spat out at the base of a waterfall, all he can do is whistle for help. Thankfully, his colleague has a rope to try to drag him out. Exhausted and fighting the current, he needs his friend to help him to make it to dry land. Other intrepid kayakers just live for the drop, but can get trapped in the churn, unable to escape. Yacked back under the waterfall, bombarded from above by falling water, dragging him deeper, fighting for air in the darkness, until he has to abandon ship and try to reach the banks of the river on his own. Oh. Extreme weather's one of the biggest challenges for explorers. Charlie Walker's a British adventurer, a walker by name and nature.
I've had temperatures up to 55 degrees in Saharan summer, minus 40 degrees in Arctic winter. I've had sandstorms.
I'm just battling this intense heat ring.
And snowstorms, floods. If you do what I do, weather's unavoidable.
In 2019, Charlie's in Papua New Guinea. His trip is like a battle between man and weather.
My goal for Papua New Guinea was to get from the east of the country to the north, coast to coast, via the three highest mountains and the longest river, the Sepik.
The inhospitable climate, the remote location, and his challenge to travel alone with minimal kit leaves Charlie exposed to the elements. Visibility in the mountains can be unpredictable.
I just found myself in this eerie land of drifting mists, so I spent a whole day more or less lost in this whiteness. It's one of these things where you can be walking along in the mist and think that you're absolutely fine, and suddenly you find yourself on the edge of a precipice.
So either side of me, it's just a drop-off of, well, I don't know how many hundreds of feet.
Your heart leaps up your throat, and you start to imagine what could have happened had you slipped just those few inches further and tumbled down into the kind of the unknown, unseen whiteness.
The extreme weather is potentially lethal.
The heavy monsoon rain fell for about half of each day, so 6 or 7 hours a day. Just heavy rain would clatter down through the canopy. And the paths were very, very slippy, very, very steep.
The conditions helping blood-sucking creatures to drop from the surrounding trees.
One of the biggest downsides to the rain was with it come leeches. Suddenly you just see a leech trying to sort of squeeze its way through the eyelet of my shoelace or inching its way up my shin.
Incessant rain in the mountains makes navigation on the next stage of the journey difficult.
With the rainfall, it all slowly works its way down into the rivers. And so rivers that will suddenly become these dangerous sort of torrents that just gush down out of the higher mountain reaches.
The river is part of the route, but it very nearly brings a rapid end to the journey.
I came to the Strickland River, which is a very large, very fast river that sprints down out of some higher reaches in this huge gorge. But I decided that I would paddle down the river instead of, putting up with the jungle.
But the jungle is a walk in the park compared to his ride on the rapids.
I was out of my depth. Pack rafts are not really made for big sets of rapids while carrying a heavy 20-kilogram pack weighting down the front of the raft. But it wasn't long before I came to one particular set of rapids that flipped me upside down very, very quickly. And for the next couple of miles, I was dragged further and further down the river.
Charlie struggles to cling onto his boat and kit.
And everything I had, everything I was relying on to survive, food, navigation, stuff to sleep at night. Everything would have been washed away and I would have been stuffed by myself. When I finally managed to regain the bank after that first capsize, I dragged all my stuff up. I was absolutely exhausted.
Overnight, the monsoon rain starts to make the river almost unnavigable. But back in the jungle, the conditions are testing Charlie to the limit.
It was more being just exhausted and wet and cold, and my feet slowly starting to rot. I was getting trench foot inside my boots. But it wasn't long after that, another hour or so after that, that we came to the river once again.
The river is still swollen with rain. But it's the only option with dangerous and unpredictable currents.
I hit this fallen tree broadside and snagged on it. And the strong current coming from upstream, just slowly hitting the side of my pack raft, just forced me further and further into the tree. And I suddenly found myself upside down in my spray deck, holding me into the pack raft and wedged into the roots of this tree. I was under the water and fighting for my life. And And so I fought and I fought and I fought. And the longer I fought the current, the more convinced I became that that was it. I was going to die. I was fighting and struggling and just trying to get out of this raft and get out of there. And 30 seconds of just total, all-encompassing existential terror. I couldn't quite accept it. So I gave one more frantic struggle, adrenaline kick just forced me out of that kayak, and I managed to wriggle my way out of the pack raft and was dragged through the roots and finally got above the water and got a desperate gulp of air. And I think that's probably the closest I've come to dying.
Charlie's lucky to survive and somehow makes it to the riverbank alive to continue his journey.
That is the closest I've ever come to drowning.
It's a harrowing experience, but despite his battle with the elements, Charlie Walker makes it to the northern coast of Papua New Guinea 3 weeks later. Despite another bumpy landing.
The thing about weather is it's humbling. In the face of extreme weather, there's often nothing you can do. There are things that we can't control, and nature and weather is definitely one of them. And if you try to resist as opposed to adapting and going with the flow, then you're not going to last long.
In this episode, we've witnessed the destructive power of floodwater.
My mama being rescued.
We've seen how a terrifying tornado can cut a brutal path through an entire city. We've learned that you are never safe when an avalanche approaches. And next time, there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.